Travis, how about you?
I tend to be a lone ranger, and I told these guys that up front. That's part of why it was easy for me to back out. I intentionally went into the group knowing that the group would be exactly what I wanted and needed, because I've always had accountability partners, but typically just one guy that I was close to. And I'm fairly perfectionistic, as you could hear from that story, so if I was going to be in it, I wanted it to work well. And just our coming to joint conclusions and working through all that stuff was good for me personally. Because again, I've been a therapist all my life, and if I was going to do a group, I was going to lead it, run it, set the rules, the guidelines, and that kind of thing. And this is just a lot messier than that, but it's a good messy, because you learn things that you need to know about yourself, you learn things you need to know about the other guys. It's kind of like a good marriage. If you never had a fight, would it be a good marriage? Probably not.
It's been an incredible privilege to be engaged by such highly capable people. There's no escaping. You're in the crosshairs of 3 people, and they're not going to let you go, because they know the drill, they know the gig, and you brought something up for accountability or an issue. So that's been an incredible privilege. In the context of accomplishing what God wants from each of us, what this has meant to me is literally it's kept me from quitting. I've been tempted to quit, and I brought it to him. SOS. Here's a perfect storm. Dealing with difficult things with our kids, dealing with teenage pregnancy, feeling disqualified. I can't do this. I want to sin. I want to turn my back on faith. And guys going, don't need to do that. One of them said, as far as that sin thing, I've perfected every one there is. So we can process that, and I'll give you everything I got. I'll give you as much time as you need to get you through that struggle. So it's essential in staying on the job. I think things God's calling for us to do. And speaking to all of this, we're gonna be tempted, we're gonna be tested, we're gonna be attacked. So it means having a safety net. You're people that aren't, failure's not an option. You belong to the body. What you do is important. It's unique. We need it, and we're gonna pay with our lives for you to stay in that place.
One thing that was valuable to me was happened recently. My church and me are on fairly different places politically, and there's a lot of politics in my 2 sides of my family. And I had gotten fairly frustrated at what we were doing, and was contemplating, do I just skip church until the election or what? And I was talking to these guys about it, and where I was at coming into it was just, what's the point of trying to address this? I'm not going to change my whole church just for me. And these kinds of issues, people don't tend to listen very well about anyway. And they really challenged me about the thing of there's nothing you can do, and not so much you have to change the thing. But what was really helpful to me was the challenge to say, you need to talk just for the sake of the relationship, whether the beliefs change or not. And it gave me a picture of how I could do that. And the larger issue for me is, in a lot of areas of life, God is calling me to step up and be more vocal about what I'm thinking, and not just shy back. And it goes to one of the lies of my life, which is devaluing myself. And often when we start in on some of these, we come back to that same place of, I don't say anything because I value other people's opinions more than what God shown me. So I wrote my pastor a letter. We had a good conversation.
You actually met with him, right?
I met with him, yes. Out of that, so it was a really good outcome. And again, the larger thing for me is less about that I met with my pastor than that I took an area of my life that I've for 20 years sort of stepped back and been frustrated, and thought people around me anything. So that was really valuable to me.
You know, Tony, the meta issue I think you're talking about is a safe environment to learn and to grow.
So we're going to do a little bit of, here's what an actual meeting would look like. So we'll start with some of we have an update that we sent around, and we did that before the weekend, and I didn't go and make copies for everybody. But what we do is we'll look at each other's updates and what's going on in our lives, and then we'll just sort of circle things that, here's something I want to ask about or check in with you about. So let's go around and do that real quick, and then we'll spend maybe 15 minutes. You know, we'll see how much time we have, sort of engaging one guy, and then we'll debrief a little bit, and then it'll be lunchtime. So,
You didn't get an update from me, I'm sorry.
What was going on with you?
Well, I didn't put on my calendar to do it in time, and when Tony sent his, I'd run out of time. So I'm sorry.
oh, you're
Okay.
already leaving.
Right.
I just wanted to share with Russ, I appreciated the update about your job situation, but what most struck me was our conversation last night. Russ is in a job transition right now, and we've been discussing some issues about his wife and her working. And so last night, Russ said to me, he told me that his wife, you told me, let me just tell you.
Yeah.
You told me last night that Janet's got her dream job.
Oh, wow.
And so you explained that to me, and then I said something, asked you a question, and you said you've been praying for 20 years, every day, for her to find her dream job.
Right.
And I want you to know I am deeply humbled and convicted by that illustration of what you have done, that your wife might come into the fullness of who she's created to be, and she might experience that. So I want you to know you have inspired me in my relationship with my wife. So thank you.
I appreciate that. It's not like I haven't had moments of, quote, trying to motivate her to go do more than what I think she has been doing. But God has, I mean, I literally have been, on my knees about that for 20 years. And God has answered that prayer in a way that's bigger than what I would imagine, bigger than what she would have imagined.
Wow.
And
What's the job?
she loves to cater, she loves to arrange, she loves to that kind of thing. And she's, in the past, she's kind of dinked around with being a wedding coordinator. Now she has a job as a wedding coordinator in a brand new wedding chapel. And it's like state of the art, you know.
Was that your buddy?
Yeah, the guy that lives there close to me that coaches with me, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
they have built this really cool, wedding chapel, reception center, all that kind of thing. And she'll basically run it,
Wow.
and she's just, in hog heaven about that. And that does me more good. I told Larry, I said, once she got that, I told her, I said, no matter who invites me, because I'll be unemployed in 3 days, I said, no matter what invitation I get from wherever to go and do whatever, what you're doing is going to be number one.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Well done.
So
That
that's
timing of that is fascinating with what's going on for you.
It's just God, isn't it?
How about that?
Yeah.
So what do you feel like God's, what's going on there? What is God speaking to you through that?
Well, she's one of those wives that paid, the huge price to put me through 1 year of college, 3 years of a master's degree, and 5 years of a doctor's degree. And then raise our kids and not have a career and that kind of thing. And so I think, basically I'm saying to her, God's saying to her, it's your time,
Oh, wow.
And since I'm 50-something, I think she's waited too long, but I think that's a really cool thing.
So it sounds like, Russ, you're saying no matter what you would want to do, you're committed to sacrifice for her.
Yeah, I need to do that, and she needs to see me do that.
Huh.
Great.
Mm.